from the Penn libraries.
So I'm going to talk about SlideShark. Has anyone in here used this app before? Okay, so new to most folks. It's a relatively new app. They sort of describe themselves as it's a free app that you can use to carry your PowerPoint presentations with you. But what I think is really more powerful about it is that when you have them with you, you can plug it into a projector like I'm doing right now, and you can present from your iPad. Another feature, they recently added an iPhone app. So now, in addition to being able to present from my iPad, I can also control that presentation from my iPhone, basically just using it as a remote. So I'm actually using SlideShark to do my presentations. It's very meta, so we did the inception portion of Gadget Day. So the app it's a free app, but it's one of these freemium, I guess we're calling them now, services. So there are some premium features that you can pay a little bit of money for, and I'll show you a little bit about that. So why use a tool like this? Since you're here, I think you probably have some ideas about how you might want to use it. This is the kind of thing that we get asked about all the time here in the Commons. Faculty want to present from their iPads, staff want to do a presentation, go to a conference and not have to bring a laptop. Students want to give their presentations from their iPads. Increasingly, students are getting iPads. So this is just the kind of thing that is a really natural fit for us. So, you know, it's lightweight. It's the form factor of the iPad people want to carry it around. It sounds sort of superficial, but that's one of the things that we hear the most. You know, I don't want to lug my laptop around with me. I just want my iPad. You can go paperless, I say as I'm reading this from paper. I'm working on that part, but increasingly I'm trying to be a little bit more paperless. With the iPhone app, it's really nice. It keeps you from being tethered to the podium, so you can walk around the room, see if your students are looking at Facebook, you know, interact with people a little bit more. So SlideShark in particular is a really cool app, and one thing I like about it is it's in very active development. So as recently as March 26th, they rolled out a ton of new features. So it's really getting better all the time. They're really adding a lot to it. So everything I say now, they'll probably, any bugs I point out will probably be fixed in a couple of weeks, but it's just growing really fast right now, so that's pretty exciting. So I'm actually not going to be able to do a live demo for you today. SlideShark, the dashboard and the app itself won't project to the projector. Only a presentation will show, so I can't actually show you as I'm going through the steps. So I apologize for that. I'm going to try to kind of recreate the experience with screenshots. And after I finish, I'll grab some of our iPads, and they all have this app installed if you want to start an account and play with it in the room today. So getting started, you do have to create an account. You create a free account, or you can upgrade to one of the premium plans. So I just put a little snapshot of what your options are. $50 a year, you get 500 megabytes, or $100 a year, you get a gigabyte. You actually get 100 megabytes of space for free on SlideShark. So in addition to being just sort of a vehicle to present from, you also get some cloud storage space. You can save your presentations there. You can also use it as kind of a publishing platform. So you can save your presentations in such a way that you can share them with other people afterwards. So if you're at a conference and you want people to be able to view your slides, you can use this as your publishing platform. And 100 megabytes will actually get you pretty far, so that's probably a few presentations. Yeah, did you have a question?
Are there any other features that the free version you don't have with that the premium versions do?
Yeah, the premium ones also have presentation tracking, so you can get some more information about who's looking at your presentation. And the most expensive plan also has broadcasting, so you can do a web conference with up to 10 people who are viewing the presentation. That feature is actually free right now. It's free through May 31st, so if you want to see how you like it, try it now, because it's going to be rolled into that 1 gigabyte plan, but right now it's free. So those are the extra things you get in addition to more storage. So how do you get your presentation onto SlideShark? SlideShark is not an editing platform at all. So I'll talk a little bit about some of the other apps that do what SlideShark does. It's really designed for you to create your whole presentation in PowerPoint and then upload it here and share it. You can't make changes to your presentation. You can hide or reorder your slides, but you can't edit it at all. So that's one thing to be aware of. So you've got a couple of options for actually getting your presentation there. The easiest way is to just upload it to your email and then send it to yourself. When you open that email on your iPad or iPhone, you'll see the option to open it in SlideShark. So that's a pretty simple way to get your stuff on there. This is a snapshot of the dashboard. And I just want to quickly show you one other way to import your files. There are actually connections to a bunch of other cloud services. So if you save something in Dropbox, you can easily import it here. They have these integrations that I haven't even heard of, Simplicity. So we have lots of, all the major players here. I'll just kind of walk you through some of the other features on the dashboard. So when you log in, all of your presentations show up here. You can download them to the device so that you can view them offline, which is a really nice feature of SlideShark that some of the other competitors don't have. If you have lots of presentations, you can star them, you can search through them to find your content. On the left-hand side, this one is the remote, the broadcasting, the cloud sync, and then your settings. So that's just kind of a brief overview of the dashboard. So what happens when you're actually presenting from SlideShark? So this is kind of, if I swipe up, actually I think I have a demonstration of, so this is how you look at your presentation, you know, swipe back and forth, swipe up to see all of your slides, pretty intuitive. So when I swipe up, these are the only options that I get. So I can autoplay it. They kind of tell you, you know, you can take it to a trade show or, you know, something like that if you're in a booth. You can autoplay, you can set up slide timings, you can loop it. This is also where you can hide or reorder the slides, but again, that's the only change that you can make to the presentation once it's uploaded. This is just so you can see what is on my phone right now, since I'm up here and you're down there. So this is what the remote control looks like. It doesn't have a lot to it. It just kind of tells you to swipe back and forth, which is a little bit different from some of the other options, which I'll talk about in just a minute. So the really cool thing is that if you looked at my iPad right now, you'd see that I'm actually running in presenter mode. So the same way that it works on a desktop or laptop, this is one of the really unique things about SlideShark is it has this presenter mode. So number one is my current slide. Number two, those are the timers. So I have a timer for the entire presentation and then one for how long I've been on one particular slide. I can see what slides I have coming up next. And then I can see my presenter notes, which is really awesome, a really great feature that sort of sets SlideShark apart from its other competitors. You can also tap and hold for a laser pointer, and I can do that either from my phone, which is kind of weird because I can't see what I'm going to tap on. But if I hold down my thumb, I can do a laser pointer. I can also do it on the screen here. So if I wasn't using my phone and I was just presenting from the iPad, I can do the same thing. Got a little delay. One of the really awesome things about SlideShark is it also has annotations, and this is another thing that we get asked about a lot. Faculty want to write on, we have a professor this semester who's using musical scores and he wants to just mark them up. Landscape architecture professor who wants to be able to show her students how she's drawing things. If I, and you can't see this, in the bottom left corner, there's a little icon that I can tap for annotations, and I can basically just write on here. It will look a little bit better if I had a stylus, so I can do math or whatever. So this is something that I think is really cool. It's got a pen tool, there's a highlighter, and then just an eraser, and you can change the line width so I can make it a little bit more readable. So this is another one of the really big features, I think, of SlideShark that some of the other apps like it don't have. So let's talk a little bit about those other apps. So one that I've used before is Keynote. So this is really the other app that is the most similar to SlideShark. Keynote is basically the Apple version of PowerPoint. So they try to get you to use this tool. It's really great. It does cost money though, and in the app world, $9.99 is like really a lot. Our sense of value is different there. So the app itself costs $9.99. There's an iPhone remote like this, but that costs money too, 99 cents. So it costs money. The really key difference between Keynote and SlideShark is SlideShark tries really hard to preserve your fonts, preserve animations that you create in PowerPoint, preserve the formatting. If you've ever, made a presentation on your computer, then you present on a different computer, you've seen what can happen to formatting. I was at the Philadelphia Science Festival, and this neuroscientist was talking. He had these amazing slides, but I couldn't read half of them because the paragraphs were overlapping each other because he had obviously made it on a Mac and he was presenting on a PC. So SlideShark can help you to avoid that problem, which is annoying, but also can really affect your presentation and make it so your audience can't get your content. So Keynote doesn't do that. You really have to stick to standard fonts. There are only a handful of the master slides that work in the app. If you've used the desktop version is very pared down. It's much less robust. So a lot of what you can do, the fancy stuff, animations, they don't transfer over to the app, which is unfortunate. Some of the advantages, though, it does allow you to create presentations. You can edit your presentations in the Keynote app. So if you're working on something, you can work on it while you're on the train, or you can make last-minute changes to your presentation, whereas with SlideShark, you cannot do that. The thing that I really like about Keynote, and that makes me think I might keep using it, even though I'm pretty excited about SlideShark. On Keynote, the remote actually shows you your notes. So your presentation notes and the current slide are on the iPhone remote. So you can kind of just stand and look at it, which I think is an advantage. The iPad has my notes on it, but just having them on the remote, I think is cooler. One of the other tools that people use to present from an iPad, there's an app called Cloud On, and then other Microsoft Office apps, Quick Office, basically versions of PowerPoint that are optimized for the iPad. So you can run a slideshow from them. I say you can display slideshows, but you just don't get those extra features like the cloud space, the ability to share it. So it's just, you can do it, but it's not as good. I think a lot of those apps are pretty hard to use. They try to cram all the functionality of Microsoft Office onto a little tiny screen, which to me is annoying and hard to use. Cloud On and many of the other apps like it also require you to be connected to the internet to use them, so you can't run your presentation offline necessarily, which if you're going to a conference, you can't really rely on the Wi-Fi a lot of the time. When you're switching back and forth between a desktop and editing on Cloud On, your fonts and animations and images can get a little wonky. But again, the advantage of using an app like Cloud On is that you can edit and create presentations on the go. So this is my example of SlideShark is still in development. So the way that SlideShark tries to preserve your fonts sometimes gets a little wackadoodle. So this actually, I put SlideShark preserves your fonts in some of the wackiest fonts that I could find. And it didn't really know what to do with them. So when you try to run your presentation on a different computer from the one you created it on in PowerPoint, PowerPoint will try to replace that font with the next closest thing. So even if it kind of gets it wrong, you usually end up with something that's still readable. SlideShark works differently. It actually tries to trace around the letters and create shapes from your text, which most of the time works better because it creates something that looks like the way it's supposed to look. But if it can't read it, you get something that doesn't make any sense. So I thought that this was actually kind of cool looking, so I just wanted to share. It's not perfect. They're still ironing out the kinks a little bit, but for the most part, my experience with it was pretty good. So now I have I think about 10 minutes left. So I just wanted to open up to any questions.
I'm following Twitter, and we actually are getting questions back, which is very exciting. And one person has said sound is going in and out, so we can talk louder.
Okay.
Lots of excitement.
I will do that. Thank you.
So given the way that it tries to understand the font, what would your recommendations be about choosing fonts? Like it looks like maybe sans serif would be better, or blocky kinds of fonts. Or...
Yeah, the ones that I used here, there was one that had like a shadow on it, and then one that looked kind of like calculator. So it's not the kind of thing that you probably want to use in a professional presentation anyway. But even the top two, they don't actually look like that. It just tried to do the next best thing. And I was actually, this was a mistake. I was like, oh, it preserves your fonts. I'll make a slide that says that. And then I was like, wait, it didn't preserve my fonts. So I was surprised that it did that. But yeah, the two that it just doesn't render at all are kind of wacky. You probably wouldn't use those in your presentation. I was trying to break it. Any questions? Anyone in the internet space?
Actually, yeah, I'm surprised we're getting lots of tweets.
Great.
People are watching us from the vet library.
Oh, cool. All right, well, I didn't expect it surely, but
should I go get some iPads for you?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, we'll bring in the iPads if you want to play with the app. You can create a free account right from the app. So, yeah, I'll have that available for you.
Sorry, I have a question. So, in terms of compatibility, you said using your remote, you have an iPhone. Is it compatible with other like Droid phones, or does the remote have to be an iPhone?
No, it doesn't. It's only iOS right now. I didn't test to see if I could use just a regular presenter remote, just a generic non-phone. So that might work, but as of right now, the remote app is only for iPhone.
And how does that sync? How do you?
Sure, yeah, sorry, it's Bluetooth. I meant to mention that. It's a Bluetooth connection, which is actually really good because Keynote can do Bluetooth, but it works better if you're on Wi-Fi. And sometimes you can't be on Wi-Fi again, so the Bluetooth is actually good because it makes it a little bit more portable. Yeah.
So you mentioned that you'd seen that it's popular among trade show professionals and salespeople, and but have you seen students make use of this, or do you know of students making use of this in like particular courses, or?
No, I haven't heard of anyone using it yet. Anu, there was a surgeon at Penn Medicine who
So we heard
recommended
about this from a really amazing presentation, and on the Gadget page is a link to the surgeon's webpage. It's Kenrick Moriyama, and he is a heavy, incredibly powerful user of his iPad. And he basically presented using SlideShark, and he had evaluated a bunch of different apps and chose this one. And mainly he said, I think some of the things Caitlin's already mentioned, it kept his bullets. He liked to have bullets of certain shapes and maintain them. It kept the spacing of the slides the way he wanted, because he has different diagrams, and he spent a lot of time getting everything to look just right. And the SlideShark was better, having everything stay in the same place. And that was the first time we had heard of it.
Yeah, it's still pretty new. I've heard of students using SlideRocket, which is similar, but I actually haven't met with any students who are using this tool yet.
Do you want me to, is there an account I should use to log in on SlideShark? Do we have a generic account?
No, I created an account, but you can use that. But yeah, I think it's still too new. It's really being marketed for sort of the business world. So I think.
Do you have any Linda videos on SlideShark?
I don't think so. I didn't check, but it's so new that I don't think that Linda has had time to discover it yet. And most of what you'll do is PowerPoint. It's really just kind of a vehicle for you to show your PowerPoint that you'll create.
Oh, so you mentioned some problem with the fonts. The foreign language font doesn't figure
Yeah, it's
it as long as PowerPoint on the PowerPoint.
right. If you can create it in PowerPoint, it's supposed to handle them pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah, I tested it a little bit, but that's one of the strengths. It's really close to deal with non-Roman characters.
So do you have any sense of what this company's like revenue model is going to be? Because it seems to me if it's free versus like the Apple product, you know, it may become popular among business users, but I'm just wondering, like, how are they going to, you know, maintain this service and offer it for free? You know?
Yeah, I mean, they do have premium plans. This is also not the only thing that this company does. The company's called BrainShark. They also do some kind of video, integrating video into presentations. That's their main project. So.
But nothing to do with GrooveShark.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I have to look into that. Yeah, I think it's BrainShark.
Yeah.
So this is their newest project. So maybe they're still figuring that out. But yeah, they do have kind of premium, and you get 100 megabytes, which is a lot of space to us as consumers, but probably to them is not that much space, so they can handle the load. But yeah, that's a good question.